आयशा जी नमस्कार।
नमस्ते सर, आप सभी को मेरा नमस्ते।
Now mic is in your hand. Let's start.
यस यस सर। आप सभी को पहले मेरा नमस्ते सभी को and very good morning to all the dignitary participant and the audience present today. My name is Aisha Sharma and welcoming all of you to the Ritambra International Conference 2020. So to begin with the first few minutes of my welcome, I would like to thanks Mr. M.N. Sharma, Dr. Rashna Raj, and our chief guest, Professor R.C. Pradhan, for enlightening us with their presence. So during this walkthrough introduction, I will be sharing that the conference is all about how useful it is for you and what does the future hold for all of us in the context of this conference. So I would like to give a brief idea about the Ritambra. So Ritanveshi is a means that affect a spiritual regeneration of whole mankind. The goal of Ritanveshi is spiritual against the material, fulfilling the diverse requirement of living in a balanced manner so that no aspect is overemphasized. Okay, so yeah, it is my pleasure to host this event and to grant me an opportunity to introduce you keynote speaker and delegates that have come from all over the country today to share their knowledge and enhance our intellectual horizon. So now I want to call upon Vedanjali and Ashi to fill the environment with the positive energy of Ganesh Vandana, following with Saraswati Vandana. So please, Vedanshi and Ashi, please, it's over to you. Uh, please fill our environment with the positive energy.
या शुभ्रवस्त्रामृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्कर प्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निशेषजाड्यापहा।
Thank you, Vedanshi and Ashi. You have got a beautiful voice. Thank you so much. So I would like to request Mr. M.N. Sharma for welcome address following with the introduction of our guest. Thank you all.
सभी को मेरा नमस्कार। मैं महेश्वर नारायण शर्मा, बीकानेर, राजस्थान से। भारत की परंपरा के अनुसार प्रत्येक कार्य की शुरुआत में गणपति स्मरण और मां सरस्वती की स्तुति कार्य की सफलता के लिए आवश्यक बताई गई है। आज इस कार्यक्रम हेतु इस परंपरा का निर्वहन वेदांजलि और आशी के द्वारा बहुत ही सुंदर रूप में प्रस्तुत करते हुए मां सरस्वती और गणपति की कृपा हेतु प्रार्थना की गई है। हम सभी मां सरस्वती और गणपति प्रभु से ये कामना करते हैं कि हमारा आज का ये आयोजन, ये कॉन्फ्रेंस सफल हो। Now moving ahead, on behalf of Ritambara committee, we like to welcome all the participants and dignitaries for this conference. We appreciate the enthusiasm that even in the time of worldwide pandemic of COVID-19, the efforts for knowledge and self-realization are continuous, and we feel honored to be a part of it. Now let us first describe briefly about our speakers, our respected speakers today for this inaugural session. Our keynote speaker is Srimati Rachna Raj. She will describe about the efforts and activities being undertaken by Ritambara Committee and Ritanveshi in large. Our chief guest for today's conference is Professor R.C. Pradhan, former HOD, Professor in Philosophy, University of Hyderabad. It is my pleasure to introduce our chief guest speaker to the audience. We welcome one of the distinguished academicians and professor of philosophy, Professor R.C. Pradhan. He had a long tenure as professor in the Department of Philosophy at University of Hyderabad. Before joining University of Hyderabad, he served in Karnataka University and Utkal University. Apart from his long teaching career, he was academic staff fellow at University of Oxford from 1991 to 1992. He also served as member secretary of Indian Council of Philosophical Research from 2000 to 2003. Recently, he completed his tenure as national fellow at IIAS Shimla from 2018 to 2020. He has numerous research papers published in many noted journals. Some of his important works are The Great Mirror in 2002, Recent Developments in Analytic Philosophy in 2001, that was in ICPR, Language, Reality and Transcendence, an essay on the main strands of Wittgenstein's later philosophy, Overseas 2009. Metaphysics versus Metaphysics, that is in 2011. Mind, Meaning and World, Springer 2019. And most recently, The Metaphysics of Consciousness, Indian Vedantic Perspective in 2020 itself. Once again, sir, on behalf of Ritambhara, I welcome you to participate in our conference as our chief guest.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our next respected speaker is Dr. Nilima Mahato. Dr. Nilima Mahato is working as assistant professor in Yungnam University in South Korea. Her major is chemistry and material sciences. She earned her PhD degree in applied chemistry from IIT BHU, Varanasi. Currently, she is working in electrochemistry of energy material, supercapacitor devices, conducting polymers and bioactive molecules. Today in this conference, she is presenting on endocrine system, thoughts, and our behavioral health. Now, I would like to take the pleasure to welcome our other two dignitaries of the session. That is Professor Rajesh Raj, the mentor of our group, now presiding the session, and Dr. Saroj Kantakar, the chief editor of Ritambhara. Although both of them are familiar to our group and do not require any introduction, but I am sharing some words that I have felt working with them. Firstly, Dr. Saroj Kantakar. He is a dedicated, energetic, and all-time available teacher, learner, and practitioner. He has done his PhD from University of Hyderabad. His area of work and interest is Buddhism, Vedanta, and philosophy. He has worked in Utkal University and other universities. He has also served in ICPR, the Council of Philosophical Research. Presently, he is serving in Nalanda University. His hard work and vision has resulted into this conference that we all are attending today and getting enlightened. Now, our mentor, Professor Rajesh Raj sir, he's also known as Yogi Raj, mentor at Ritanveshi Yogayan. He is academic director of ATEC Korea Group. He was former professor of human consciousness at Wonkwang University, South Korea. He is the reason for many of us to advance on the path of self-realization and spirituality. His vast knowledge, deep understanding of human consciousness, and very simple and easy to understand teaching style have made him a true mentor. We feel honored to work and organize this conference under his aegis. Now I request Professor Rajesh Raj sir to preside over the meeting.
Thank you, Mahesh. So I really very happy to see you all here, respected chief guest, Professor Pradhan, Dr. Neelima, Dr. Saroj, and many other of my friends, students, colleagues, and all dignitaries and scholars. Yes, it was a little difficult to arrange all these things online, but I really thankful for our team and Ritambara that they are managed everything nicely and profoundly for all of us so that we are easily available. So first I request Srimati Rachna Raj as our keynote speaker. She please enlighten us about the Ritambara and little about the Ritanveshi.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. With due honor to the chair and dignitaries in both the sides of the speakers and audience, I may be allowed for presenting the keynote address. Ritambara is one of the spiritual and interdisciplinary academic forum for the Ritanveshi Yogayan. This forum is instituted to carry out academic events and publications. Accordingly, it takes up conducting conferences, lecture programs, and publishing magazine and a research journal, besides publishing other books. Ritambara in all its forum of conferences, magazines, and research journals are supported by Ritanveshi Yoga Private Limited, which conducts many of the spiritual events as well as offers online courses regularly on the different aspects of yoga, tantra, and other Sanatan cultures. Ritambara Conferences 2020 is an annual conference. At this time, it is organized on the eve of opening of the cultural magazine Ritambara. About the concept Ritambara, it is taken from the Yoga Sutra Adhyay 1, Sutra 48, Ritambara Tatra Pragya. It refers to a generation of a state of mind by meditative practices that has the highest and correct knowledge. The same yogic state of mind is to be cultivated, and in this regard, it is only facilitated by the magazine and the associated activities, hence the name Ritambara. When Ritambara denotes some other sense as well, Ritam Bharati iti Ritambara, it means that which instills us with the pure knowledge is Ritambara. Accordingly, this magazine and this conference provide us with pure and spiritual knowledge, and therefore the name Ritambara. The conference, the magazine, and a research journal are supposed to convey the spirit of and drive to accomplish transcendental yogic knowledge. Such higher accomplishment may not happen in the air. One has to put the ladder and start from the ground level. Hence, the ground, the ladder, and the effort of a person are equally important. Keeping this in view, Ritambara facilitate to discuss the matter of mundane concern like Ayurveda, Jyotish, Vastu, etc., where they lead to overall well-being and therefore help in the spiritual path of yoga. A sound body, mind, and favorable internal as well as external atmosphere are conducted to yoga and spirituality. All associated aspects of life are supposed to be studied together. The same is taken care of and promoted by Ritambara. All connected aspects are promoted here as they should be compatible with the yogic life. Ritambara aims to collect, preserve, recreate, and disseminate the rare and rarest spiritual practices and scriptures. Apart from interpretative knowledge from scriptures, it also offers direct experimental knowledge through different programs. It promotes and propagates the long forgotten yogic Sanatan culture through thoughts and practices. It commits to bring out the spiritual as well as material accomplishment in personal, social, and global level. With these words, let's continue the program with my best wishes. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Rachna Raj. Rachna Raj is the director of whole company and this foundation of Ritanvishi Yogayan, and her efforts is always completely as a devotion, as a completely surrender on the revitalizing and re-establishing the previous Sanatan culture, so that mankind can get a proper truth and knowledge from our previous experiences of our rishis and tapashvis. So thank you again, Rachna Raj. Now I cordially invite our dear Pradhan sir, Professor Pradhan sir, that he could deliver some of his words to us. So, Professor Pradhan sir.
Professor Raj and my esteemed friends in the audience, I feel greatly honored to be part of this program today. Thanks to Dr. Kaur's effort and his best wishes, I am here with you. I do not know how far I will be able to really enlighten you, if I can use that word, since you are already the Ritan message, the enlightened souls. I'm really happy to be with you all today. I would just highlight a few points which may be relevant to the effort that Ritanvishi Yogayan is doing. The two concepts which strike me most as a student of philosophy are spirituality and yoga. These two concepts need to be always kept in mind, because that is exactly where the whole yoga is concerned with. Let us look at the word spirituality. How does that word come into English language, and how our Indian terminologies have a better job to do in this regard? The Western concept of, or English concept of spirituality is derived from the word spirit. So one is necessarily a believer in spirit, in whatever form. It may be soul, it may be any disembodied reality beyond the mind, and etc. But that word has been so profusely misunderstood by thinkers everywhere that there has been opposition to the whole spiritual tradition as misguided, as absolutely and also as absolutely impractical, etc. Whatever may be the fate of that word spirituality in English language, but let us look out our rich Indian Sanskrit language, which has really given us two concepts, it's Adhyatma Vidya and Atma Gyan. See, Gita says that the spiritual knowledge is the best of all knowledge. Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam, something like this, which Gita says. This gives a clear meaning that there is a state of knowledge or state of consciousness which is higher than anything else. Even our modern scientific knowledge about the natural world is not the highest, and therefore there is the higher kind of knowledge called Atma-jnana or Brahma-jnana. Now this is a more direct and meaningful concepts for us to understand, because it takes us back to the notion of Atman, which is supposed to be the central concept of the whole Vedic Upanishadic tradition, what we call the Vedantic tradition. Let me just dilate for a few moments on this concept of Atman. You see, Atman is not just the individual self, but is also the universal self. And since Atman is looked at two different levels, at the individual level and also at the universal level, so there is already established a connection between the individual self and the cosmic self. Now, this relation between the individual self and the cosmic self, or the individual Atman and the universal Atman or Paramatman, is the central concept which comes into the concept of spirituality. So in the Indian context, the word spiritual will mean the relation between the individual self and the cosmic self. Now this relation is to be understood only in terms of the human consciousness, but only through the human consciousness that we can rise from the individual self to the universal self, from the Atman to the Brahman. Now this whole journey from the individual to the super individual, or from the personal to the impersonal, from the mind to the supermind, is exactly the journey of spirituality. So for me, spirituality is a definition of what higher consciousness could mean, or what, in Sri Aurobindo's language, what a supramental consciousness will mean. Spirituality is the whole journey towards the spiritual consciousness or the supramental consciousness. So if we take this word spirituality in this context, it becomes very meaningful for all of us, whether we are material scientists, or we are just ordinary human souls, or we are philosophers. For all of us, it becomes convincing that there is a higher consciousness than the embodied, personal, and what we may call the empirical consciousness or the individual consciousness. So spirituality, therefore, remains a great challenge to not only to science, to psychology, to neurophysiology. Many of the researchers in these areas, like called cognitive science, have poo-pooed the idea of a spirit or a soul. But can they also deny the fact that there is a higher consciousness? Even if consciousness originates from the brain, that doesn't prevent consciousness from transcending its own limitations. So the brain origin of consciousness has nothing to do with the limits of consciousness. So in a sense, we can say that the universe is so open, a platform or a cosmic system in which consciousness can transcend its own barriers. And that is exactly what spirituality is doing for us. Let me come to the word yoga. In fact, this is also a word which has become very popular, not only in India. In fact, it is an ancient wisdom of India, but it has now worldwide recognition because of some of its association with the health issues, some of the association with physical perfection, or some kind of yogasana, etc. But that is, in fact, not the full meaning of the word yoga. So in order to understand yoga, we have to go to the Sanatana tradition, as Professor Raj has already mentioned in her keynote address. We have to go to the rich tradition in order to know why yoga was invented as a way of spiritual life, why yoga came into existence as a complete system of spiritual life. This is indicated not only in the Upanishadic literature, but also in the later literature, especially in Patanjali's Sutras, but it is more ramified in the Bhagavad Gita, which has really done a great revolutionary work in redefining yoga. As Gita says, yoga was taught by the sun, Surya, to Manu, and Manu taught it to Ikraku and rest of this. This only shows that how ancient this tradition is. So now, when we talk of yoga, there are varieties of systems of yoga within one fold of yoga system. There are Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Raja Yoga, and so many so forth. And there is always proliferation of the systems of yoga, as there is always proliferation of the systems of human thought. So in that sense, yoga is an expanding notion. It can accommodate everything that we can really think of, from action to knowledge to emotion, and perhaps we can talk of a super emotion. So we can always talk of a transcendental yoga. In fact, that has been also very popular in the West, transcendental meditation. But all of them have meaning in their own context. But for ordinary people like us, or like like me, for example, yoga really means the way we go from the finite to the infinite. The method which brings together the finite and the infinite. The way the yoga is the way in which the individual is connected with the cosmic. The way the personal is connected with the impersonal. The way human being, or the man and women, are connected with the divine. So this whole journey of consciousness, from the little consciousness to the wider consciousness, that method is the method of yoga. Whether it is achieved in knowledge, in fact, that is the first step in which human beings think, and perhaps through their thought, through their knowledge, they expand their horizon, so they reach the cosmic and perhaps the supracosmic. So knowledge is definitely a way of understanding and realizing the divine. Similarly, action also is the way in which we can really proceed actually from the finite to the infinite. Therefore, Karma Yoga has assumed so much importance in the Gita, and perhaps in the post-Gita times. It is the Karma Yoga has really taken a higher proportion, because it relates to our practical life. In our practical life also, searching for the divine, realize the divine is possible. And of course, emotion takes care of many aspects of our life. Therefore, Bhakti Yoga will be really profoundly effective. Dhyana Yoga equally is effective, because that is how contemplation leads us to the higher state of our consciousness. So in a sense, I will perhaps be happy to reassert Sri Aurobindo's ideas that all life is yoga. There is no aspect of human life which is not touched by yoga, which cannot be elevated by yoga. So in a sense, our total being, if is dedicated, and if it is really surrendered, in Sri Aurobindo's words and also in the words of our ancient wisdom, if it is surrendered to the divine, perhaps it will be the highest achievement of yoga. So my understanding is that yoga is not to be confined to only physical aspects of human existence like asana and pranayama. It has much more than generally people can think. So I think the word yoga, which you are also, Ritadvesis are also concerned with, must be given the most universal meaning to this concept, because this is central to any system of spirituality. And the entire spiritual life is dependent on our yogic aptitude, our yogic practices, and our yogic comprehension of our consciousness. So I think Ritadvesi and Ritadvesis in general will be really searching for this infinite, for this truth. Rita and Satya, I think they are the seekers of truth. And in fact, in a sense, all of us are Ritadvesis. All of us are Satyadvesis, even though our field of